Hi guys, this is Klazart bringing another audio commentary with my dead voice, and this time I'm commentating on Game 2 of the Protoss vs Zerg Race Wars, and this is going to be on Neo Harmony, and it's going to be between July and Jang B. July at the top left hand corner of the map in teal, Jang at the 11 o'clock position, and Jang B at 1 o'clock in the top right hand corner of the map. July has already deposited Best out of the running. It was a comprehensive victory. Best really, I don't think, had any chance. It wasn't a question of a build order or anything like that. Both players had reasonable build orders. No player tried anything crazy to start out with, and Best was in a good position after his Forge Fast Expand worked well for him, but he just wasn't able to capitalize on it, and he was thoroughly outplayed by July. Personally, I find I'm not sure whether the Protoss team is being managed by someone specifically, or if it's just the four of them get together and decide amongst themselves what to do. And interesting enough, July has scouted in the wrong direction to start with, but looks like Best might actually be scouting in the right direction, although he might just be putting, or sorry, Jangbi might just be putting his pylon down initially. But yeah, it's interesting, the Protoss strategy that they sent out Best, and now and actually, yeah, he has just put the pylon down at the south of his ramp for possibly that Forge Fast Expand, and he's now going on to scout. But the fact that they've sent Jangbi out to play on Neo Harmony. Neo Harmony is hugely imbalanced. Protoss versus Zerg is something like 11-4 on this map, so that's huge. And obviously they don't have a lot of faith in Jangbi if they've decided, yeah, it looks like just a Protoss player sitting on the desk there. I don't see their coach, although there might be a coach or a manager assigned to them sitting alongside. But the fact that Jangbi has been sent out on the map where he's almost destined to lose, it's not surprising, because he just lost in the MSL finals to Luxury. His confidence versus Zerg isn't going to be huge. His play in the final was decidedly uninspiring, almost to the point of being boring. He just took no initiative at all. Now he sent a second probe out to scout July's base, and it looks like July's actually gone for a 9-pool. Shock horror. I haven't seen if that second Overlord has popped out yet, but it looks like July has indeed gone for a 9-pool, and it's a good thing for Jangbi that he's decided to select. This seems to be a strategy that all the Protoss players are trying in this game, and now the second Overlord pops out for July, so perhaps it was an overpool rather than a 9-pool. Actually, I think it's a 9-pool because the spawning pool is complete, so July has definitely gone for a 9-pool, and he's going to have speed upgraded Zerglings. And luckily for, well, not luckily, but clever by Jangbi, he scouted that, so he's immediately put the 2 photon cannons down, and he should be able to defend this. It's going to be interesting to see how July adapts to this, since his 9-pool has been scouted. And again, this just shows how much of a difference a little thing like a scout can make, because when you're playing a map like this, a 4-player map as a Protoss player against a Zerg player, if you scout in the wrong direction, it could leave you behind. And that's where the luck factor comes in, and by sending a second probe out, you sort of cancel that out a little bit. July immediately sending a drone out to take his natural expo, realizing that he's now been scouted and that his opponent is probably going to be ready for the 6th Zergling, so he's just concentrating on getting rid of the scout, but he still might be able to put some pressure on Jangbi early on. But yeah, I mean, it's a good thing that the Protoss team are keeping Bisu and Stork in reserve. Obviously, those are the 2 best players in the team, the 2 most consistent players in the team, and I think it's a good choice and good ploy of strategy by them to keep them in reserve until after maps like Neo Harmony are out of the equation, to where they will have the best chance of actually taking the matchup, having put obviously a player against July. And I think it's clever by the Zerg players to send out their strongest Protoss versus Zerg to face the opponents, because had Bisu come out, say, on Neo Harmony, he would have really struggled, because July has really had Bisu's number a lot in the past, and July looks like he's going to go and put a 3rd hatchery down, and we've seen this often when a Zerg player goes for something like a 9-pool or an overpool and gets scouted, then they immediately try and put that 3rd hatchery down, and it's really quite a clever move, because the fact of the matter is that the Protoss player has already gone on the defensive, he's already expended resources on photon cannons, he's already on the defensive, you've already got 9 pools, so you're going to have a slight lead possibly in tech, and July continued to mine the gas, so he's going to be getting his lair soon, and you're going to be able to put a little bit more pressure on by producing Zerglings early on your opponent, which means that they're going to have to play a little bit more defensively, which gives you the time to get your economy back up by putting that 3rd hatchery down. So it makes perfect sense what July is doing. It's actually quite smart. Meanwhile, a simulator going up for Jangbi, and he's starting to mine gas from it as well. And this looks like the pattern in this game is very similar to what happened in the last game, although in the last game July obviously went, I think, for a possibly 12 hash build. I'm not 100% sure, but excuse me. But it looks like a very similar pattern. Protoss player going on the defensive, setting up the Forge Fast Expand. He's also got 2 probes blocking the ramp because he's scared that July is going to push out against him. Now Jangbi's managed to get another probe almost into July's base, but July just with some decent micro with the Zerglings stopping him from doing that. Cybernetics core up meanwhile for Jangbi, and now he's finally let go of that ramp because with those two probes, because he was worried that July might still be coming in with a Zergling rush and try and break through, as we've seen Zerg players do in recent times. July now starting up his teching to lair, and he's got Zerglings positioned around both sides. Again, the problem with Neo Harmony is that it is very difficult to defend for the Protoss player because there are those two openings coming into their nexus, into their natural expo, and we've seen Jangmi pay the price for this in the past, and that's why we saw Luxury do the run by against him on this very map, and that's why he had those two probes there. Now Citadel going up for Jangmi, but all the Protoss players seem to be using almost an identical strategy. It looks like they're all being coached by Bisu and all using his strategy. It looks like the Citadel is going up. I wouldn't be surprised if we see DTs come out from Jangmi. July looks like, I think it might be actually his Spire that started up in his main. I'm not 100% sure. He's got his third hatchery up and running. He's getting his economy up and going. And I think this is good play by July, and he's going to be in a decent position. Now the first Corsair should be popping out soon for Jangmi. But I'm not sure what a Protoss player can do differently to give themselves a chance on this map. Obviously, he's been forced to play relatively defensively, and I'm sure that's not what Protoss players would like to do. I'm surprised that I haven't seen Seer Reaver being used. That seems to have gone out of fashion recently in Protoss vs Zerg play, and I'm quite surprised. So I'm just going to take a sip of water here, guys, because my throat is quite dry. Excuse me, yeah. I'm quite surprised that Protoss players don't use Seer Reaver a little bit more. It's almost like they feel that it's just impossible to use it. I mean, if they're gonna play defensively, this is the way I see StarCraft. If you don't put pressure on your opponent and you're playing defensively, then when you do finally make that attack, it better be a killer blow. You know, it better be some sort of a timing attack. And Templar Archive is now going up for Jangmi that just tears your opponent to shreds. What seems to me is happening is a lot of Protoss players seem to just force fast expand and then try and play a normal game from there with kind of a 2-base econ. But the point is, when you do that, the Zerg player is out expanding you, and you're giving them that advantage. And the biggest strength of the Zerg is their ability. And two overlords looks like two overlords are going to get taken down by Jangbi. He's taken out one in July's base, and he's taken out another one in his base. So that's going to mess up July's timings a little bit and try and give Jangbi a little bit of an advantage. July's Scourge is not popping out in time. Now he's got 4 Scourges out. I think Jangbi's probably going to be able to make it to the safety of his 3 photon